Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So I'd like to welcome each one of you for this Kartik month meditation. So we just have 5 more days remaining in the month of Kartik, and Kartik will come to an end. So we've been meditating on this one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken by Sukadev Goswami in response to Parikshit's question as to what is the imminent duty of a person when he knows he's about to die, in particular, and in general throughout the life. And in response to that, Sukadev Goswami says, Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari. Jai Shri Radha Damodar ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gauranga ki Jai. So the verse that Sukadev Goswami speaks, I'm sure all of you would have memorized by this time. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Hari. Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichchata Bhayam. Right, which we have been seeing in the last 25, 26 days. Today is Ekadashi. Today is the disappearance day of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Today is Bhisma Panchak. And there are just 5 more days of Kartik which is remaining. What should we do? When I was thinking to myself, what should I do? Smartavyam, Kirtitavyam, Shrotavya, Kirtitavya and Smartavyam, we've already covered. Should we start something new? If we start something new, we can, but what is the point starting something new when the whole point of our human life is to intensify our devotional activities? This Shrotavyam, Kirtitavya, Smartavyam, when we hear it just like that, it may not make so much of sense to us as to what is the significance of this. So the remaining 5 days, whatever we have, including today, we will go deep dive into this and try to understand how this is so very important in our human life. Yesterday I was hearing Prabhu was mentioning about one verse from Bhagavad-gita, which is Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Right? From me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. The Lord who's seated in the heart gives us remembrance and forgetfulness. And the biggest forgetfulness that we have is the forgetfulness of our true constitutional position that I'm a spirit soul. The biggest forgetfulness. How I don't know what is the right word, how striking it should be that a life which we are living, such a big mystery. Before birth, I was not sure where I was. After death, what happens to me, I have no idea. And in this life also, when we live, we see people around us. I've been asking these questions. Who's your grandfather's father? Or if you know his name, what about his father's name? You don't know them. Does it mean that they were not existing? They were. Imagine one day somebody goes missing in our lives. How anxious I'll be. Where did he go? I have tracking. I'm trying to find out where is that person? Where is he going? What is he doing? All of a sudden, without telling anything, that fellow is missing. And we'll go berserk. When we'll go to police, we'll go to press, we'll go to media, we'll go everywhere. We will try to find out where that person is gone. When this invisible thing called the soul, which gets missing, which we don't even realize. It's very different kind of a missing, and that is missing, and the body is lying there. Same body which used to give us so much of joy at one point in time, just lying there. 4 people are required to carry that body. They burn it to ashes. This is going to happen to us, to me, to each one of us. But in our day-to-day life, we are so busy, we are in the state of forgetfulness. We don't realize. It doesn't strike. It's so bewildering, isn't it? That is why, so the necessity of that has to be very strongly established. We should feel that. The intensity for doing something comes only when the feeling is very strong. Otherwise, sometimes people take this goal of reducing weight and becoming fit in life. Right? Many people they start some few pounds here and there, some change happens. There's no intensity. What is the, even if I, somewhere down the line, because the goal is not so strong, the intensity reduces. It's all about intensifying. The word that is used in Bhagavatam, akama sarva kamava, moksha kama udaradhi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param, tivrena. Who knows how much time we have? How can I be so callous? How can I be so madly engrossed? So, I'll share a few verses which will be on the same line, and then we will come to the importance of the Shrotavya, Kirtitavya and Smartavya Chaichadavayam. So you see these verses. First verse is from Bhagavad-gita. Okay? And the verse of Bhagavad-gita, this is 4th chapter, 36th verse. I'll keep telling the number reference so that you can see this. Apiched asi papebhya sarvebhya papakrittamaha sarvam jnana plavaneva brijinam santarishyasi. Apiched asi papebhya. Anybody sitting here who feels that he has never done any sinful activity? See, maybe you might be a little different from others. Nobody is raising, but I am different. I have never done. But here, the verse spoken by the Lord is telling, apiched, even if, apiched asi papebhya, you might be the sinner of the sinners, the biggest sinner. Apiched asi papebhya, sarvebhya papa krittamaha. Krittama is the highest. I've done some most abominable kind. The fact that I've got a body, human body, which we are so proud of, is the reason that, because I've done some sinful activities. It's a punishment. This body goes through so much of problems, birth, death, old age and disease. Every one of us, we have done this. But what the Lord is saying, apichedasi papebhya, even if you've done, even if the worst kind of sins, sarvebhya papa krittama, Sarvam jnana plavaneva brijinam santarishyasi. Sarvam jnana plavane. If you take to the boat of this transcendental knowledge of realizing who you are and establishing your relationship with the Lord, you'll become fearless. The fear comes because we identify with ourselves with this body. What will happen to me? What will happen to my future? What will happen to my parents? What will happen to my dependents? So many fear. I am Krishna's. I am a spirit soul, I am his part and parcel. Sarvam jnana plavaneva brijinam santarishyasi. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions, there is one line, it's a very nice verse, a very nice striking line. How many of you know swimming? Proper or just in the swimming pool with the, what do you call those tubes? Some of you know, right? Jagat seems to be confident. We'll give him the boat of this thing. He knows it, actually. But Prabhupada's statement, in the ocean, however expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. It's not about some swimming pool in my home where the height is less than 5 feet or something like that, and what do you call those lifeguards are there. There are other people who are watching. It's an ocean. However expert swimmer, however intelligent person you are, however influential, however powerful, however wealthy, however relatives you have, how many things you have, doesn't matter. In the ocean, however expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. This is what is our life. So then what is the hope? If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he's the greatest savior. You're struggling, imagine in an ocean, you're stuck, soreless, or depth, you just can't fathom the depth. Depth, I don't know if there is a depthless or something. You're not able to see, you're not able to fathom, and you're just about to, drown there. Somebody comes and just picks you up. Lifts the struggling swimmer someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean. He's the greatest savior. This perfect knowledge received from the Lord Bhagavad-gita, perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time the most sublime. We all struggle, we all struggle, we all struggle. Here is a solution. There's a nice verse in Bhagavatam. It says the reason for our struggle. Yes, we accept. Maybe many of us, we accept that we struggle when things don't go our way, when we go through when we get some slappings of Maya, some kickings. We realize there's a terrible existence. What is the cause? This verse of Bhagavatam talks about that. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmanah satam kathamratam shravana puteshu sambratam punanti te vishaya vidusitasayam brajanti tat charana saroruhantikam. Purport, first line you see. The sufferings of human society are due to a polluted aim of life, namely lording it over the material resources. Just this one line, if one gets it. The sufferings of human society are due to a polluted aim of life. The spirit souls, this thing is to render service. Mame vamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. We have polluted. Polluted means it's contaminated. Contaminated means what? I've forgotten what is the real goal of life, and I'm aspiring to do something to enjoy. How do I enjoy? What is the polluted aim of life? How did it translate to actions, activities? Lord it over. Lord it over every single resource that we are seeing. Whatever limited, scarce resource that we have, be it human beings, be it in our family, be it some society, be it whatever resource, I want to lord it over. And there is suffering. The sufferings of human society are due to a polluted aim of life, namely lording it over the material resources. Actually, the verse, it says, Pibanti ye bhagavata. If he wants to go, he can go. I don't want to wait. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmanah satam kathamratam shravana puteshu sambratam punanti te vishaya vidusitasayam brajanti tat charana saroruhantikam. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmanah satam. Actually, if somebody drinks Pibanti ye bhagavata atmanah satam, if somebody drinks this message of Krishna, not everybody is ready, not everybody is prepared. But if you drink this atmanah satam kathamratam shravana puteshu through the ear holes, then what happens? Punanti. Punanti means becomes purified. Te vishaya vidusitasayam. Punanti vishaya vidusita. The polluted aim of life becomes purified. This is the power of hearing satam in association of devotees. The polluted aim of life becomes purified. Punanti. Those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him. In Bhagavatam, in elsewhere, there is a mention of one verse where where it is mentioned that the body that we feel very proud of, the body that we are so attracted to, how when we see it through the eyes of the scriptures, they want us to see something different. And what is it that they are trying to show us? This verse of Bhagavatam, it talks about this. Tanno prabhotvam ku kulevara pritam. Tanno prabhotvam ku kalevara pritam. The word kalevara means body, but he's telling Tanno prabhotvam ku kalevara pritam. I don't want to go through the whole verse, but this one word, ku kalevara pritam. Ku means bad. Kalevararpitam. Tanno prabhotvam ku kalevararpitam. If you read the translation, it's very, very striking. Therefore, O Lord, O transcendence, kindly help us by giving us the power to execute Bhakti Yoga. It's not easy. You think Bhakti Yoga is also easy? No. So the prayer is, kindly help us by giving us the power to execute Bhakti Yoga, so that we can control our restless minds and fix them upon you. We are all infected by your illusory energy. It's very difficult. We are infected by illusory energy. Therefore, we are very attached to this body which is full of stool and urine. Is there anybody who disagrees with this? Anybody has got the body which has got fragrant, nice things inside? You see, because of the infection of illusory energy, we're very attached to this body which is full of stool and urine and to anything related with the body. Except for devotional service, there is no way to give up this attachment. Therefore, kindly bestow upon us this benediction. Very powerful prayer. Kindly help us by giving us the power to execute Bhakti Yoga, so that we can control our restless minds and fix them upon you. We are all infected by your illusory energy. Therefore, we are very attached to this body which is full of stool and urine and to anything related with the body. Except for devotional service, there is no way to give up this attachment. There is no way. Therefore, kindly bestow upon us this benediction. Okay, now the verse that I'm going to chant today, which we will repeat, you can repeat after me. That the verse, before I go to that verse, I want to ask you a question. Maybe you can go back to your school days. Okay, and tell me, what is your favorite subject when you were in school? Science? Right? Okay. Anybody else? Anything? What was your favorite subject? Maths? Drawing? History? Science, maths, history, so on and so forth. All of you spoke about that. Actually, a reason I'm asking this question, it's a very important question. Exactly this question was asked by Hiranyakashipu to his son Prahlad. What's your favorite subject? He was his pet son. He made him sit on his lap and he said, what is your favorite subject? And in response to that, Prahlad Maharaj says this verse, which we will chant. Shri Praharada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishno Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishno Bhaktis Chena Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha Tanmanye Dhitam Uttamam. So before I go to the word-to-word meaning, I just want you to take the look at the last thing. Tanmanye Dhitam Uttamam. I consider this to be the best subjects. What is the best subject? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. Very, very powerful, this verse. So, if you see the word-to-word meaning, there is a reason I'm going through the word-to-word meaning, and then we will see the translation and we will see one line of the purport, just one line. I may not be able to even finish that. Sri Praharada Uvacha, Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam is translated by Prabhupada as hearing, Kirtanam is chanting, Vishnu of Lord Vishnu, in bracket, not anyone else. In the name of Kirtan also, people do all kinds of Kirtan. When Nimai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came back from Gaya, initiated, and he came and he was taking dip in Ganges, Jagai Madhai was doing, they were doing mockery. Oh, Nimai, you do Kirtan, right? Let's do Kali Kirtan. Oh, Vishnu, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Hearing, chanting of Lord Vishnu. Bracket Prabhupada is saying, not anyone else. Smaranam, remembering. Padasevanam, serving the feet. Archanam, offering worship with Sodasa Upachara, the 16 kinds of paraphernalia. Those who are Brahmana initiated, you will understand what 16 this thing. Others you have to wait. Archanam, offering worship. Bandhanam, offering prayers. Dasyam, becoming servant. Sakhyam, becoming the best friend. Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything, whatever one has. Iti, thus, Pumsar Pita, offered by the devotee. Vishnu, unto Lord Vishnu. Again Prabhupada, not to anyone else. Bhakti, devotional service. Chet, if. Navalakshana, possessing 9 different processes. Creator, one should perform. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adha. Adha is not in Hindi, they say Adha. It's not Adha. Adha means half. This Adha means completely. Adha. Jo Adha padha, wo andha hai. So to read Adha directly or completely. Any one of these 9 processes of devotional service, one can actually achieve the highest perfection. Adha, directly or completely. That manye I consider adhitam, learning, uttamam, topmost. The first 3 things which are mentioned here is by Prahlad Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. This is what we have been trying to see. Why does Prahlad Maharaj... Okay, this is one reference. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj long back. After that, this Bhagavatam is happening between Sukadeva and Parikshit, and Sukadeva is narrating this incident of Shravanam, Shrotavya, Kirtitavyascha, Smartavyascha, Ichchatabhayam. But this was spoken by Prahlad long before. Where did he get this from? Where did this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu come from? That, if you want to know. So, I want to go to, you have to understand what devotional service is, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this in various ways, very nice ways. The first thing that he says is Bhajanera Madhya Shreshta Navavidha Bhakti. Of all kinds of different devotional things, devotional activities, topmost is Navavidha Bhakti, this 9 process of devotion. What is the benefit of doing Navavidha Bhakti? Krishna Prema, Krishna Dite, Dhare Mahasakti. Oh, this 9 process of devotion has got tremendous power, Mahasakti. Krishna Prema, Krishna Dite Dhare. Krishna Prema, it can give you Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Krishna himself will be purchased. Krishna Prema, Krishna Dite Dhare, Mahasakti. So much of potency is there. And in the same Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes this verse. This is to explain Sanatana Goswami what exactly bhakti is. Bhakti sabdera artha hai dasa vidhakar. There are 10 definitions of bhakti. The word bhakti which we are saying, which people think loosely some sentimentalism, it's a science. But bhakti sabdera artha hai dasa vidhakar, ek sadhana, Prema Bhakti Nava Prakar. There is one sadhana bhakti and there are 9 varieties of Prema Bhakti. But in the purport, if you read, the 9 varieties of Prema Bhakti, Prabhupada is giving the definition of this, and these are all explained. Rati, Prema, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava. Attraction, love, affection, adverse feelings, intimacy, attachment, sub-attachment, ecstatic love, and sublime ecstatic love. For the word sadhana bhakti, there is only one meaning. The execution of devotional service according to regulative principles. The execution of devotional service according to regulative principles, is sadhana bhakti. This one sadhana bhakti can lead us to all these 9 varieties of prema bhakti. One sadhana bhakti. And what is this one sadhana bhakti? How do we know this? So, Rupa Goswami, in Nectar of Devotion, he says there are 64 limbs of sadhana bhakti. 64 limbs of sadhana bhakti. If you call yourself a devotee, if you call yourself a sadhaka, you must know this. You should. So if for knowing that, you have to go to chapter 6 of Bhagavad-gita, chapter 6 of Nectar of Devotion, where Rupa Goswami lists this. He says there are first 10 do's. If you want to practice, if you really want to intensify, if you want to do this seriously, not some ayaram, gayaram, aate hain, jate hain log, they see something and they get busy with their life. Again, they forget the real aim of life, and they forget that they are living in a martya loka, in death world where death is looming all over, all around, but they are oblivious. Yesterday we were there at MIT for the program in the evening, and it was Halloween. You can't just imagine what kind of craziness goes on outside. Right? Mad people. What they're wearing, what they're doing, what night 10:30 we are about to leave from there, and it's as if they've just woken up and fully fresh and going somewhere. How much of madness is there? How much of craziness in this world? So there are 10 do's which Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says, accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. First thing, Ado Guru Ashrayam. Actually, the word which are used for Vedas is called Shruti. Shruti means it has to be heard from a self-realized soul, not from any random person. You just can't hear, because the subject matter of Vedas are very grave. There's a lot of gravity in that. You just can't read Sanskrit, and it's like, you read some English, you have got some proficiency in English, and you say that tomorrow I'll read the books of biology, or I'll read the books of medicine and I'll become a doctor. No. Shruti means you have to hear from a self-realized soul like Srila Prabhupada. Accepting the shelter of a lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. Second, becoming initiated by the spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotional service from him. 3, obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. 4, following the footsteps of great acharyas, teachers, under the direction of a spiritual master. 5, inquiring from the spiritual master how to advance in Krishna consciousness. Being prepared to give up anything material for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This means that when we are engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, we must be prepared to give up something that we may not like to give up. And also we have to accept something that we may not like to accept. Residing in a sacred place of pilgrimage like Dwaraka or Vrindavan, accepting only what is necessary or dealing with the material world only as far as necessary, observing the fasting day on Ekadashi, today is Ekadashi, worshipping sacred trees like banyan tree or tulsi, that's not given. And there are 10 don'ts. If you are struggling in your devotional life, if you're experiencing that your sadhana is not good, these are the 10 don'ts which you might be doing and you should give up. First, one should rigidly give up the company of non-devotees. Rigidly give up. One should not instruct a person who is not desirous of accepting devotional service. No point. There are so many people who are ignorant but obstinate also, proud. You don't want to listen to. No problem. One should not instruct. One should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. One should not try to read too many books, nor should one develop the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad-gita. Not from professional kathakar. There are so many people who listen to them because they are available in some media, something, TV, this thing. They hear, but if they are earning their livelihood, sarpo chisto payam. Even if milk is very nutritious, nectarian, if it is touched by a snake, it is poisonous. One should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. One should not be under the spell of lamentation in loss or jubilation in gain. One should not disrespect the demigods. One should not give unnecessary trouble to any living entity. One should carefully avoid the various offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord, in worshipping the deity in the temple. One should be very intolerant towards the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his devotees. Actual injunction is one should be very intolerant towards the blasphemy. If somebody starts blaspheming the Supreme Lord or his devotees, ideally one should have the, the ammunitions to counter him, to defeat him. If not, one should shut his mouth, one should shut his ears and go from there. If not, one should actually, if he is not able to do it, he should commit suicide. You just can't hear. One should not be intolerant towards the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or his devotees. 10 don'ts. Then he lists 39 actual processes of engaging in devotional service. Out of that, 9 is the Nambavida Bhakti, and amongst them, the topmost is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. The cream of the cream. It has the power no matter who you are. But there is a process, there is a way to do it. And the moment we get that right, magic can happen. Let's spend some time in just hearing the first line of the purport of that verse that I spoke on Shravanam. Prabhupada is writing, hearing of the holy name of the Lord is the beginning of devotional service. So this is the definition of Shravanam which is given in the purport, and Prabhupada is writing that hearing the holy name of the Lord, hearing the holy name of the Lord is the beginning of devotional service. That means if we are not hearing, whatever we are doing is just service. If we are here, that is the beginning, hearing the holy name of the Lord. Usually when we meet people, we ask, how many rounds today finished? 16? 12? How many rounds you chanted? We ask, right, this question. Ideally we should ask, how many rounds did you hear? Do we ask that? When we chant, how many times do we hear the holy name? Hearing of the holy name of the Lord is the beginning of devotional service. Can you tell me any reasons why we don't hear, or what are the problems in hearing when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord? What problems we face? Mind gets diverted. Okay. Huh? Thinking. Okay. Huh? Forget about love, yaar. Hearing में नहीं हो रहा है हमको. When we are trying to hear, what problem happens? Okay, we still didn't develop the interest to chant. Okay. Past memory. Constant on a run. Actually, I saw there was one devotee. Should I say or not? I'm thinking, but I saw him literally. He just, jumped into his bed. Said, "What happened? 16 rounds are over." That's it. I mean, that's a big achievement. Right? When I joined ashram, before joining the ashram, I had asked one devotee who was guiding me, if I have to develop my hearing, if I have to be very attentive when I'm hearing Bhagavatam or when I'm chanting the holy names of the Lord, what should I do? You know what he said? You should sleep early. If you just try this even once, just go to bed early. Early means Not like 11:30 to 9 o'clock. Try this once. The moment, the morning you get up, you'll be so fresh for Mangalarti. And when you chant, you don't feel sleepy, mind is not going anywhere. You can hear every single syllable. Not every, maybe still mind will go, but your hearing will be very powerful. The technique is not very complicated. We sleep late, and we know Prabhupada stresses so much on Mangalarti. Prabhupada, there is a quote that we should crawl and come to Mangalarti. We crawl. Whatever, 12:01, we come. But after that, hearing is so poor. There's a very beautiful purport on this one aspect Shravanam Prabhupada talks about. We will talk about it tomorrow. But before I close, I want to share one very powerful purport of Srila Prabhupada, where he talks about how we can develop our attention while hearing. Because everybody sitting here is hearing. The words are going. This sound vibration is transmitting through this sky, ether, and it is falling in the ear holes. There is a huge difference as to how one has got, what kind of attention one has got. And Prabhupada says, this is a very beautiful purport, we will see that. Prabhupada says, actually attention is a function of our intelligence. For example, I've quoted this many times. If you walk into this place, right? You know, some of you who are coming probably for the first time, and you come here and you sit here, and then so if you come here and you sit, you come here and somebody has to ask you, what did you see inside that temple hall? Well, I don't know. The temple hall seems to have high ceilings. There were some recessed lights. There were 2 fans. 2 TVs were there, marble flooring. Actually, there was one person who came, I saw one day, and I'm not joking, I'm sitting here in Asasana. He was counting how many tiles we have, the number of tiles. And they have some pillars, this thing, and nice altar. They can go back. Whereas somebody else who comes, he probably will see there is Prabhupada DT, there are Radha Damodar DTs, there are Vaishnavas who are sitting and discussing about Srimad Bhagavatam. Place both people walked in is the same. What one is seeing, that is a function of intelligence. Prabhupada says that if somebody is engaged in devotional service, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. In Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam. If you are engaged in continuous devotional service to me, I give the intelligence by which you can come back to me. I give that intelligence. So Prabhupada's purport of this verse says that one can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. So how is it possible that you can see the pages of Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam? You can see if your attention is proper. You can see Krishna. If not, you will see texts, some syllables, some English syllables which are put together in the form of sentences. What is it? Some book. You can see directly the presence of Lord Krishna. It is possible if we have the attention. How do we get the attention? Prabhupada mentions about this in this purport very nicely. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. If mind is not pure, forget about hearing this. Somehow you make some person sit here, he just cannot. It's impossible. Purity in mind. How do you become pure in mind? No one can be pure in mind who's not pure in action. Pure in action means what kind of impurity comes in action? No one can be pure in action who's not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Purity in eating, purity in sleeping, purity in mating, purity in fearing. Then you will be pure in action. And pure in action will lead to purity in mind. And when there is purity in mind, rapt attention. Mind doesn't go anywhere. Otherwise, sitting here, प्रसादम कब आएगा, कब छोड़ेगा, कब ये ऑल्टर खुलेगा, कब यहाँ से जाना है, गाड़ी का क्या होगा, मेरा घर का ताला लगाया नहीं लगाया, लॉक किया, हजार thoughts. Physically we are here, mind is somewhere else. Avishta, nivishta, the word nivishta means Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. Nivishta. That is possible. That is the power of hearing. It has the potency to extricate us, to completely free us from these material miseries. That much of power is there in this dhvani, provided we hear properly with attention. And it is possible. It's possible to do that. I was talking about that this is the last 5 days of Kartik. Our goal should be, how should I intensify? Because after this 5 days are over, we may not have these sessions. You may again get busy with your own day-to-day life. Things will go normally. Again, maybe after 1 year in Kartik, again 1 month if we do, who knows? This is Bhisma Panchak, that the 5 days, I should intensify my devotional service. I should develop some good practice. Maybe I may not be able to sustain, at least for these 5 days. These 5 days, let me chant, let me hear. Because Prabhupada is saying that devotional service begins, hearing of the holy name of the Lord, Shravanam, is the beginning of devotional service. Otherwise there is no hearing. So we have 1 minute. We will chant this verse once and then we will go for Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischena Navalakshana Kriyata Bhagavati Adha Tanmanye Dhitamuttamam. Srila Prabhupada ki, Kartik Mahamotsav ki, Nitai Gaur.